Hi guys, and welcome back to the only channel on YouTube with 57 subscribers. Today we're going to be having a look at Kemper's new reverbs that they released, I think it was on Saturday? Or Friday? I can't remember when it was, but if this comes out when I think it will be the Saturday or Sunday before last. Kemper have released about 6 new reverb engines, and there's some really cool stuff. The previous reverb has been put into one, the previous reverbs, I should say, have been put into one reverb called the Legacy Reverb. But there's some really cool stuff with the new reverbs, and I'm just going to go through them with you guys now. Okay, so the first reverb we're going to have a look at is the first one that Kemper released, which was the Spring Reverb. They released it with a beta, so I'm just going to quickly show you that now. So the really awesome thing about this reverb is you can adjust it to sound kind of more like a really old-fashioned kind of spring reverb in an amp. And also another really awesome thing that they've allowed you to do is you can put the reverbs before the amp. So reverbs aren't assigned just to the reverb slot anymore, and you can put them before the amp as well as after. So the way I've got it set up now is I've just got it right before the amp, and some of the settings on here are really awesome. Like you can adjust the distortion or the dwell if I turn that all the way up. You can hear that starts to get a really kind of nasty sound. And you can adjust the dripstone. That's just how drippy the sound is. And if I turn that all the way down, you can also do really cool things like adjusting the actual spring size. It's really interesting, actually. If you adjust the spring size, it starts to sound a bit more like just a normal reverb, and just kind of ambience rather than, you know, an actual spring reverb. It's quite nice, actually. I mean, you do still have a bit of that drip in there, but it sounds a bit more natural. Now, we're going to go and move on to the next reverb, which is the natural reverb. Now, this reverb's really nice because it doesn't sound so much created or vintage. It doesn't sound very electronic either. It sounds, like it says, it sounds more natural. If you want to kind of get big hall sounds or outside sounds, this is a really great reverb for that. And this is another thing which I didn't even realise before. There's actually a modulation effect that you can add to it, which gives it quite a nice kind of 80s sound. You can also adjust the input swell so it doesn't come in right away. So the natural reverb, it's excellent for getting kind of that big kind of ambient outside sound or big hall sound. Also, you know, if you want to go for that kind of sort of 80s ambient production, you can easily do that with this. You can even go a bit crazier if you want. It's got so many options. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the next reverb, which is the Easy Reverb. Now this literally is what it says. It is so simple. There's literally just mix, decay time, modulation, and then there's just some decay and cut options. So I'll quickly show you what this sounds like. But yeah, it's really simple, really easy if you want to just get a great kind of reverb sound right off the bat. It's excellent. There's not really, I can't see any options to make it sound like it's a smaller room like you can with a natural reverb. But yeah, it's really great for that instant big kind of ambient sound. Now the next reverb we're going to look at is called the Echo Reverb, and from what I understand, I haven't really messed around with this too much, but it seems to be a both a reverb and a delay. So this seems quite interesting, so I'll give you a quick idea of what this sounds like. Okay, so this is pretty awesome. What actually turns out is it's a reverb which is being used like a delay. So the reverb's essentially happening, and then it's just repeating the end of that reverb tail. It's really, really cool actually. I can see quite a lot of uses for this, particularly if you want to get like a really ambient sound. But you can do loads of stuff, like you can change the time. So it seems the shorter the pre-delay time, the faster the delay. So the longer you have it, the longer the pre-delay time, the longer the tail end that it keeps on repeating. So it's really cool. It's got some really awesome sounds. So now we're going to get onto the reverb, which I'm really, really excited for, and that's the Cirrus reverb. Now, what I was seeing from channels like Tone Junkie and a lot of people talking about it on the Kemper forums, this is gonna kind of be like, you know, it's gonna be as good as the Strymon Big Sky, and to be honest, it sounds pretty amazing. I mean, I've heard some sounds of the Strymon Big Sky, and I've been playing through this, and to be honest, I couldn't really be happier with the way this reverb turned out. I'm just going to quickly show you what it sounds like because it's amazing. It's a really, really beautiful sound. Like it's absolutely stunning how this reverb sounds. There's a couple of options. I've tried putting this actually before the amp, and it also sounds really, really cool. So I'm going to quickly show you that now. If you put the reverb actually before the amp, it can do this really cool thing where it makes the guitar tone into the reverb, and then it processes the reverb through the guitar amp, and then on the other end you can add a reverb yourself. The one problem that I've kind of found with having reverbs like this, really nice ambient reverbs, is if you want them to sound kind of washy, if you put them after the amp, then you get a little bit too much of the guitar. So this is a really cool way of making your guitar tone like transform before it goes through the processing, and then you can add a reverb on the end or whatever you want. But yeah, it's a really beautiful reverb. From what I've heard of the Strymon, I think that this easily stands up to it. So, like a genius, I just found out when I was editing that I had the mute button pressed for the end. So if I'm wearing a different t-shirt, that's why. So this has been the review of the reverbs. There was one reverb which I didn't cover, which was the space reverb, which from what I read is essentially like the space in the output section, and it just adds kind of a little bit more kind of room to the overall sound. It's pretty cool, but because it was just so subtle, I didn't think it would come across very well in the video. But if you guys want me to cover that in my next video about the Kemper, I can cover that if you want. If you guys want to see more videos about the Kemper, please let me know in the comments below. I'm planning to make some more of these, so if there's any specific things you want me to cover, just let me know and I'll cover them. My band Derelict Dream have an EP coming out on the 23rd of March, if you haven't seen in all my other videos that I'm shamelessly self-promoting. Yeah, if you want to hear more about that, check us out at derelictdream.com or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/derelictdreamofficial. We're really proud about this thing. We're not asking any money for it. But yeah, just go and listen to it and enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.